Hello everyone. I'm back in Connect with you, and I'm sure each one of y'all across the globe would have done brilliantly for yourself in these past days. I'm sure with our self-quarantine and isolation, we have discovered many facets of our personality which are helping us to gain mastery over our lives. The message of the planetary configuration informs us that the disruption of our world paradigm and the birthing of a new is at hand. Participating as if things are going to continue in the same way will actually result in wasted efforts. And worse yet, will leave us evolving lives based upon infrastructures that may no longer exist in the near future. So be ready for the new. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Like I had told you last time, which is, I think, on the 1st of April, that connect with your birth chart in order to know how Jupiter affects you and your whole life. Find out how the mighty Jupiter, which is the planet of wealth, fortune, finances, and wisdom, affect your life. You have to learn from your insecurities. 1 second, please give me a moment. Sorry. So, Jupiter represents our expansive qualities and our abilities to improve ourselves. It is a planet of plenty and seeks insight through knowledge. It is the planet of possibility. A well-aspected Jupiter is normally associated with good luck, and in more negative associations with blind optimism, excesses, and overindulgence. Now, in your natal chart, the placement of Jupiter reveals how you express your sense of giving and tolerance, and how you go about improving your life. I am sure you have found out about your placements and are all ears today to what I am going to share with you. You needed to realize which zodiac sign your natal Jupiter is posited and the house it impacts, for example, the first house or the second house, etc. Now, with this conjunct, that is Jupiter in conjunct Pluto, 4th April, that is tomorrow, is the peak, whereas the impact you had started feeling 15 days earlier and goes on till 20-25 days later. Which means that this entire month of April, the universe gives you a chance to take hold of yourself. Your overly self-secure mode of interacting disguises some deep distrust of your own foundations. Beyond or behind your flamboyance and manipulative assertions are profound insecurities. When you come to terms with your own weaknesses and see them as not so profound or bad, you will simultaneously become more open and acknowledging of other people's values and points of view. Now, this lays the foundation to use your vast insight and expansion or expanse of your vision in a very, very positive manner. The effects of Neptune and Pluto are felt over very long periods, which I would be explaining to you all in my following videos. While Jupiter transits effects are felt at intervals whenever it transits over your chart. Now, basically, the rule of Jupiter is expansion, and how you hone your skills is your prerogative. Your attitude can actually become your altitude. Situations that encourage expressions of power may emerge during this time, and you may find yourself engaged in significant struggles that consume you. You tend to emerge victorious also, especially if you know what you want without any equivocation. Those problems that are firmly rooted, however, may intensify, forcing you to deal with them personally. The opportunity exists not only to face ingrained issues, but also to alter them for the better, perhaps even to eliminate them altogether. Now, this is a cycle where you can initiate changes that have an enduring effect. You may have experiences that leave an indelible impression upon you and serve as a catalyst for taking steps, even extreme measures, to transform what has outlived its usefulness. You may think I'm being a little repetitive telling about Jupiter from my past videos, but we need, because there are so many new people who are listening. So this is just like a recap I'm giving you, that what is likely to happen now, how you are going to feel during this period. So even you, we all need to know that this is a very strong, impactful period. You can grow exceptionally stronger by planting the seeds right now. This is a time where the environment is conducive for increasing the force of your character. You may encounter a commanding presence as well as demanding conditions that assist you to manifest and to expand your influence. Whatever you feel compelled about, you may increase in its appeal so that you may fulfill some of your deepest desires. Tremendous success is possible, especially if you have a passion for whatever you pursue or do, since this cycle tends to augment the motivating forces of your life. As much as constructive action is an indicator of this time, it is possible that there is a need to tear down what was already established and you have to reconstruct. Sometimes to go forward unencumbered requires that you purge whatever is a hindrance to your development. In order to advance, you may have to clear away all that is inessential. That means you need to declutter. On a practical level, you will do well to remodel, retool, or revamp existing structures or systems. Monetary rewards can come now, or steps that you take can ensure future profits through comprehensive financial planning. You tend to recognize the need for long-term goals, no matter what your interests, and you can map effective strategies. Generally, this is a favorable period in your life, although its dynamism can contain forces that occasionally are more than you can control. Extremes in the world around you and in your life can become exacerbated. It is important to have your priorities straight in order to take advantage of the boost that this period can bring. You have an opportunity to understand the heights and the depths that define existence as witnessed from experience rather than from a distance. Reminding you all again, Jupiter conjunct Pluto is a major alignment occurring every 13 years. In your natal chart, Jupiter conjunct or aspecting Pluto is a serious calculation. Jupiter and Pluto give an incredibly strong need to make it big in the world. Their combination gives out your intensity level as to how much you want power and influence and make ambitious plans to succeed at the highest levels. How much of the intense drive and ambition you have to make you determined, persistent, and sometimes ruthless. How much of the setbacks or failures discourage you or affect you? To what degree you see opportunity in every challenge and use the experience to perfect your skills and change yourself accordingly. To what extent you can understand that continual growth and adaptation is your path to personal mastery and prosperity. The placements of Jupiter and Pluto help you understand your luck factor, also forewarn you of how you should not take your good fortune for granted, what percentage of generosity is required for others. It also reminds you that needs can always be fulfilled, but never your greed. It presages you of your limitation and lets you know the importance of acting morally and ethically so that you don't deviate and let your powers and success go to your head. It balances you out. And this universe is a great leveler. This aspect has the potential to make you very powerful very quickly before you have the wisdom and humility to use it safely. That's why I am pre-warning you all. Wide knowledge and spiritual development are needed before you amass your power and wealth. Never think you are too smart to learn from your teachers. Before you can wield power, you must submit to it. It's okay to be driven, but be mindful of becoming obsessed, fanatical, or self-righteous. You have the good fortune and power to make a big difference in the world and affect many people. You will be richer in every way if you make friends along the way instead of enemies. Now, during this conjunct of Jupiter and Pluto transit, you need to be more focused and driven if you want to succeed at what you're most passionate about. A mix of intense effort and good luck gives you the power and influence to make a big difference in your life. The result of this transit depends upon the goals you make. So it is important to think about what you want to do during this prosperous phase of life. Business success, wealth, travel, work towards achievement or promotion at work or a better career are just some of the possibilities. It is also important to consider spiritual development because power and success could easily go to your head. Selfishness, greed, jealousy, or revenge should definitely not be your motivation. Instead, you should want to succeed so to improve your life without harming others. Your generosity will be repaid double-fold and you could make new and influential friends. So it's something like be selfless, yet be in your own domain. If you act in a ruthless, extreme, self-righteous, or obsessive way, you are likely to face powerful forces acting against you. This could include trouble from superiors, government authorities, or the law. If you act morally and ethically, you will grow spiritually and materially. This should be a time of large-scale achievement and success that will make you happy and content well into the future. While I was giving you this introduction, I am sure you all must have now known or must have done your homework that I had asked you all to do 2 days back of knowing where was your Jupiter, which zodiac was it, and which house, which is important. Because now I am going to tell you what each house actually impacts, how it impacts to you personally. Let me look into the YouTube and see what's coming up. Well, people have asked very good questions, and I am very sure that your answers, your questions will be answered as I speak about Jupiter in the various houses. Now, if your Jupiter is in the first house when you were born, that is the first house or ascendant, it is mainly concerned with your outer appearance, health, and how in general you want to appear to the world. It's the most important part of your birth chart as it defines in which houses the rest of the signs and the planets will be located. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Its placement in this house increases natives' inclination towards traveling, reading, basically exploring. Now, when I'm telling you all this, it means you should divert your attention towards this. Education should be a serious part of your life. You can inspire people with your ability to stand out in the crowd because of your knowledge and wisdom. Hence, this effect of Jupiter should definitely be used to the fullest to become an independent and self-reliant person. Be a motivator and a role model for others. Since Jupiter is the planet of higher learnings, religions, and spirituality, your keen interest in these subjects will help your intuitions and you can pave your own path towards success. The way they say, be an architect of your fate. You can do it. For those whose Jupiter is in the second house, the second house concerns the possessions and wealth of the native. The native is probably born in a rather wealthy family, or you are in a comfort zone. So from a very young age, you're accustomed to life without financial troubles. That means you had very supportive parents. Although any fluctuations are natural in everyone's life, this position assures the native's lifetime financial security. So you shouldn't bother about finances. You should only bother about the work that you're putting. Jupiter in the second house signifies that you can become a highly influential person with your learnings if you actually transform yourself with your learnings. This position also can enable you to be authoritative, and you will have those leadership qualities. You will also be blessed with a very sweet voice, and you have prominent chances of becoming a famous singer. So utilize that. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. So if you're negative, that means if you're negative or arrogant or take your family comfort for granted, you may turn into a spendthrift. But it can also give you opportunities to regain the financial conditions. How you utilize your ability is now your effort. So for those whose Jupiter is in the third house, it's mostly associated with communications and a self-expression. Now, traveling can be a major theme, so you will be able to mix business with pleasure. The third house also represents siblings, relatives, and neighbors. This position indicates that your keen interest in gaining all sorts of knowledge by visiting different places can be beneficial. Your love to explore and evolve intellectually can prove to be productive in your professional life. Maintaining good relationships with your relatives and neighbors is an added bonus. Now, the strong Jupiter's placement in the third house indicates a good command over language and communication. So if case you're not confident about your communications because of other people's remarks, don't bother. You should believe yourself that you have a command over your language and can communicate well. And so you need to be involving yourself in professions like writing, publishing, media, journalism, broadcasting, railways, tourism, and so on. So much so that in your corporate office, when you're asked to give presentations, don't shy away from it. So you should actually transform yourself during this period, that this is your strong point. Now, this position also enhances natives' mental capabilities, which provides you with a strong intuitive skill. Jupiter expands one mental strength, so grasping information actually is an asset for you. Jupiter in the fourth house. Now, the fourth house is the house of motherly love, nourishment, caretaker, happiness, basic education, and overall domestic peace in your life. It represents family, home, your childhood. It also describes inherited properties like land or vehicle, which you inherit from your parents. Now, the placement of this planet Jupiter in the fourth house, you can actually endeavor to maintain good relationships and they'll come very easily to you. And you should keep learnings from your childhood handy. Never forget your roots. The realization of the parents' good ethics and values should always be remembered. However radical you may be, but remember, coming back to basics is the call of the hour. You're most likely to flourish at your native place or wherever you are the domicile from, and you should not endeavor to go far away from your parents or your domicile, for you are receiving the maximum benefits of Jupiter nearer home. Now, native with this placement, if does his investments in immovable properties, that means real estate, then the prosperity is secure for you throughout your life. So don't take risks. Take calculated risks, but secure investments like properties will do you a world of good. Now, when Jupiter is in the fifth house, this has a connection with what the natives' understanding of good time is. That means you need to be perceptive. How you like to express yourself creatively, your hobby can actually become a full-fledged career. It is also concerned with progeny, ingenuity, and your love affairs with anything personal or professional. In addition to that, it can also indicate the wealth of your father or the person who's actually bringing in the bread and butter home. Jupiter itself is the planet of expansion and luck, bringing good fortune into the life of the native. Excuse me, here I also want to say is that when I'm talking about the inheritance or the learnings from the father, in case if you're not on good relationships with your father or your elders, now is the time to extend olive branches and bridge the gap, because you'll benefit from it. You are likely to achieve heights in the careers, whatever career that you choose or which you're passionate about. This placement provides you with great creative knowledge, a proclivity for philosophy and religions. The natives would like to express themselves through their creativity, or should express yourself through creativity, entertainment, arts, education, and get involved with activities with people who are younger to you. Your children will bring happiness to you, or those younger to you will bring happiness to you. And now you should also love other people, other children also in general, because you've got a lot to learn from them. Now, it indicates that chances are you may have many affairs in your life. I'm talking about love affairs, of course. So you need to control your instant gratification. That's the negative of it. So this is the time to introspect and see that, are you always craving for instant gratification, whether it is materially or personally? Then you need to balance that out. And intimate relationships will be based on the amount of fun that could be exchanged. Is that correct? No, it's not correct. Not because love is all about being unconditional. So I would say this is the time for you to look into that. If your Jupiter is in the sixth house, now this relates to finances, debts, obstacles, difficulties, and also enemies, and your ability to overcome them. If you ask me a question, do you have an ability to overcome it? My answer is yes. It also shows the kind of service that you can provide to yourself and to the society at large. It represents the people who are working under you. So if you have your tenants, or if you have your employees, and you're an employer, then you need to have a gracious amount of generosity. Only to those who are deserving, or probably try to rectify the people. Because since Lord of the sixth house is Mercury, and Jupiter is not considered to have a friendly bond with Mercury, so you need to look into your communication skills. Though this placement is not regarded as a favorable placement for you, but however, because Jupiter is a planet of luck, if you transform yourself, you will definitely be bringing yourself great chances of earning good money through your own work and your communications. Since Jupiter is a benefic planet, it provides the native with great vitality, and generally you will get lucky even where your health is concerned. So concentrate on your health. Remember, it's always health, wealth, and happiness. By chance, when you make your full natal chart, I tend to tell you, or if you come to know that your Jupiter is a little afflicted or weak, chances are you may not get along with your co-workers. So now is the time to improvise on your communication skills. Actually, every individual knows for himself through his intuitions where are your weak points. So try to transform and mend those weak times. You have 21 days with you. You actually should render your free time for the service of humanity only if you feel like it. Because if you get involved in your healing activities, be it in the medical field or spiritual field of healing, you will do wonders for your own psyche as well as for the others. Now, when Jupiter is in your seventh house, it's known as the house of partnerships and legal bondage. It includes both business partnerships and your personal marriages. This house represents what kind of a partner you are looking for and if you're likely to be successful in business partnerships or not. So it's a very good indicator. With Jupiter in this house, you will get lucky in partnership related matters and you will be blessed with well-educated, loyal and sensible people because you will attract good, positive people to yourself. So when you're getting into partnership, know where your Jupiter is and then work on your auras and work on your energies. You will attract good people and you will also attract a spouse who could be intellectually very strong, wealthy, or from a noble family. Frankly speaking, I feel all families are very noble. Nobody wants to do things dark. But at times, our dark side overtakes the good part of us. Now is the time to look into us truthfully and know what are the things that we need to change about ourselves. Because Jupiter's placement in the seventh house does provide good health, accumulating opportunities through partnerships, matrimony, or otherwise, because it actually gives you the chance of transformation. Now, if your Jupiter is afflicted, you could face issues regarding your own health. There could be obesity, and most likely you may be lazy, lethargic, arrogant. I've already pointed out the negatives. Please ensure that you can take them, negate them, and turn them around. You have the intellect. This placement of Jupiter gives the native intellect, and you will be successful. You will have excellent communication skills, thus can end up being an eloquent speaker, and you will get benefits from foreign lands. Let me now look into the other questions. Okay. Now it says, well, I am going to be answering to you the questions. There are far too many. Probably I'll take out which are the common ones because the questions that I'm getting here are being answered if you specially know where your Jupiter is placed in your natal chart. So carrying on, we have Jupiter in your 8th house. which is mostly concerned with hidden matters like taxes and insurance, sudden events, longevity, and death. Now, death metamorphically also, and in case if you're not keeping yourself healthy, it says a stitch in time saves nine. Don't neglect your health. Exercise is important. While going on road, it's important to cater for the other person's mistakes. It's also known as the house of joint resources. It's about the deals regarding the inherited money and property. Remember, my friends, I always keep telling you all, life is all about how you create your own prophecies. When I'm telling you about these placements of Jupiter in the various houses, this is like a warning that this is what it impacts, so you can negate the negatives and work with your positives. So, whatever you get as inheritance, Jupiter in the eighth house also denotes that yes, there are going to be deals regarding the inherited money and property. Make sure they are justified and make sure that you get what you truly feel that you deserve. Sometimes we have this thing that, okay, I am not going to indulge in my inheritance. Actually, that's a bad karma. Never ever lose out on your inheritance, especially if it is well earned, and especially if you actually respect your parents who've accumulated that money or the properties for you to enjoy your future or secure your future. So don't just neglect it. Just don't just keep procrastinating and saying, I will see it tomorrow. If your parents have given you the inheritance, cherish it. The planet Jupiter, being the house of fortunes, shows good luck in inheritances and in finances. In most cases, if the Jupiter is afflicted, the native has extreme temptations, and the temptations can be hidden sexual temptations, which might end up in extra sexual affairs. Now, if Jupiter is badly aspected, it might even turn into an obsession if one is not careful. Now, this is the dark part of you. If you are not into it, just introspect and see, do you have fantasies? Do you fantasize? I'm not saying that it's bad to fantasize, but over obsessing it is bad. And if you're doing it, please balance it out. The native would take great interest in professions that involve finance related matters like taxing, accounting, insurance, or occupations to do with probably death. You know, you're in a place where you have to report debts, or you're in a place where you have to take strict orders so that you can cut out on rules. And also, you may be involved in places where you're providing funeral services, etc., because that is also a part of the business which people need. I mean, after all, when we leave this world, or any of our near and dear one leaves this world, we want to give it a befitting parting or a befitting goodbye. Now, native is most likely to also get benefits from joint resources and other matters ruled by this house, like other people's money and inheritances. That means your spouses or the people you're partnering. See, all collectively actually becomes a support system. The placement of Jupiter in the eighth house gives you very high intuition and psychic abilities. It blesses you with a great understanding of the occult and the mystical subjects. Now, Jupiter in your ninth house, this is the house of travels, spirituality, and higher learnings. It's related to long distance travel like a pilgrimage or foreign trips, and the philosophical and geographical knowledge obtaining about it. The presence of Jupiter in the ninth house depicts that you can base your entire life on your religious and philosophical beliefs or learnings. You will love to travel, and you stand great chances of foreign trips or even a settlement abroad. You will have a thing for learning even if the Jupiter is afflicted. You may want to explore more and more. However, you may not have many opportunities to do it because more is never enough. And remember, successful are those who put their learnings immediately into practice. And they start before they feel, okay, I am perfect. Because you are never perfect in life. You keep transforming, you keep evolving in life. So learn by focusing on main areas rather than getting into the nitty gritty details. You should prefer to study on your own on the thing that interests you and you're passionate about, things like spirituality, travel, and philosophy, or perhaps choosing a career which you feel good about. Now, the natives of this house always remain a student and a learner throughout their life. They're likely to taste success quite early if they start putting their learnings into practice, and this continues throughout your life. Jupiter in the 10th house. This house is concerned with career. A moment, please. Well, this house is concerned with the career, profession, reputation, political concerns of life, ambitions, and overall, what is the public image of yours, or how do you want your public image to be? Jupiter's presence also shows that you will or you can achieve your desired success and wealth and also fame in your career. And in most cases, later in your life, as a lot of obstacles and delays can come your way. So, this is like a warning that obstacles can come, delays can come. If you're mentally prepared for it, things will be better taken care of. Now, you need to involve yourself in professions related to education, spirituality, or travels in whichever way you can. You'll be attracted to these things also. So you need to be known and recognized for what you do and feel your best when people know you. So if you want to be appreciated, you need to do things for the people and be confident about sharing your knowledge and sharing your intellect with the people. Now, this position also represents that the father, that means the father figure in your family, will be a positive influence on you. In case you feel the other way around, remember that maybe the Jupiter is afflicted and you need to rectify your relationship with your father, because it's definitely going to be positive and it will contribute a lot to what the person you are today. Jupiter in the 11th house is a strong indicator of incomes and gains of prosperity and sudden profits. It represents your social sphere. This house also rules over one's interests, hopes, and wishes. The placement of Jupiter in the 11th house proves to be beneficial in the matters of friendship. Now, you can get bright and loyal friends or attract bright and loyal friends who will help you expand your mind spiritually and intellectually, and perhaps even your business or whatever work you are interested in doing. You can achieve good results in group activities and you will be able to form quick connections with people who are of higher understanding or elder to you, sensible, and possibly of a foreign descent. Now, people with these placement of Jupiter in the 11th house sometimes get attracted to foreigners and would be happier getting married to foreigners. So don't shy away from it. Native with this placement enjoys remarkable achievements in life, mostly because of the physical and psychic. You're likely to spend most of your time with networking with your friends and in social activities, in order sometimes that you may neglect your work and studies in case of the debilitated Jupiter. So remember, if you're neglecting your work and if you're neglecting your studies, this should not be the case. Now is the period to transform that awareness and be focused and concentrated on what are the priorities in life and how work and studies can enhance your own health, wealth, and happiness. Last, Jupiter in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house deals mysterious things. It deals very mysteriously with things hidden behind the curtain: solitude, subconscious mind, isolated places, your own fears and insecurities, which you need to overcome. This is exactly the time period now, and this is exactly the conjunct of Jupiter Pluto is making you aware that you have to overcome your fears and insecurities, and you have to overcome whatever are the negatives that you feel in your life. Now, presence of Jupiter in this house represents that you may take great interest in spiritualism, occultism, mysticism. And these actually are all learning lessons in our life. You might be practicing spiritual ways like meditation, prayer, in order to get some sort of a respite. I would say get into your meditation, get into your prayers so that it builds confidence in you. You don't have to use it as an escapism. Now, you may be working in some places of isolations, such as hospitals or probably jails or rehabilitation centers, etc. For you love to help people in defending their troubles. So you're actually a very generous person, and use your generosity discreetly and wisely. In case if you have an afflicted Jupiter, you might be too delusional and tend to create your own fantasy world in order to save yourself from the harsh reality. So, my friend, you have to face the realities. You have to overcome your fears. Because if you're fearful, you know that your Jupiter is debilitated and you know how you can overcome it yourself. No need, but because if it is debilitated, you might detach yourself from the material aspects of life and you're more inclined towards spiritualism and religious beliefs, which can actually break you later on. Come back to your true self. What is it that you want in life? You do want to lead a very healthy, wealthy, and a happy life. So face your insecurities, work hard, and don't detach yourself, because this detachment of yours can be short lived. This analysis offers just a little portion of the whole picture. To know more about you, you also need to see the position of other planets in your horoscope, which, of course, your natal chart will guide you, and I will be guiding you in the near future. I would be telling you how your planets and what they denote. Now, each planet has a distinct impact on you, depending on which house and sign they reside in, so as to seek out where they are located in your natal chart. You can use our website and get your natal charts made, know your destiny and talents, the period you're undergoing, so as to charter your life and navigate your way happily, transforming yourself. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can keep getting the notifications well in time to connect with me. Now let me see if there are other questions that you actually need to be answered, or if I've answered them all. Well, people have asked about Librans, then they're asking what's happening. I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, retrograde Jupiter in Virgo in 10th house okay. Well, I would be talking about ascendant since in my forthcoming videos. I would also be talking about the Pluto retrogrades and the retrogrades that are coming. What I need you all to do is just to have the placement of your planets in front of you. And trust me, this little bit of knowledge that I'm sharing with you will do wonders for you, because this is a time of transformation. So transform yourself through your learnings. And once you get your natal chart made, or you get your yearly chart also made, it will help you greatly into becoming the person that you want to be. So in a nutshell, till I connect with you again, which I would be connecting with you on the 6th of April, bringing you the messages from Pluto. And don't take it lightly. Pluto is another generational planet which is going to help you know that how you're changing and transforming now can have a huge impact on your health, your wealth, and happiness. Till then, namaste and stay safe and stay healthy.